Good morning and welcome to Driving Your Digital Marketing. Today we're going to be focusing a little bit on blogging, but specifically on the content creation side of blogging, because that question comes up a lot is how do I create all this content? So let's back up here 2 steps and then we'll get into how to create and how different strategies you can use to create unique content. So when you look at the internet, you look at search engines, the search engines love unique content. Now, unique content, it can be very difficult to create, especially when you're looking at a franchise model where you're really taking the same products, the same services, and multiplying that across multiple different pages. That really lends itself very easily for what's considered duplicate content. The search engines will identify that, and you can be penalized for having a lot of duplicate content out there on your website. So as far as growing your brand and growing your presence, creating content is going to be critical. It's going to be huge, but you have to watch out for the duplicate content. So when you look at the content as a whole, and you look at 2 different locations, location A and location B, thinking that they are going after the same products or the same services. Now, obviously in a franchise model, you can't just simply do a copy paste or a find replace and change out a location name, because you're still looking at 95% duplicate content across those pages. So really what you need to do is you need to shift it up. You need to make it unique. You need to change it around. So let's take a look at Office Evolution as the example, and let's use conference rooms as the example. So at Office Evolution, we have locations across the United States, and our business centers are going to have anywhere between 3 to possibly 4 different types of conference rooms. You're going to have a private office that could be a conference room for maybe 2 to 3 people. You're going to have a small conference room, a medium conference room, a large conference room, maybe even a training room as well. So there's actually potentially 5 different options that you can use. Now every location is going to be specific, and so let's just say that one location has 3 of those options. A private office, a small conference room, and a large conference room, those 3 options. So as far as creating that content, one way that you can create the content is you can focus on bulletizing those individual options. So you can put in bullets the private office, the small conference room, large conference room. Below that in your text, you can actually write more detailed information about the amenities of those conference rooms. So maybe you're going to talk about a whiteboard. Well, you can write out what it means to have a whiteboard, write out in your best benefit laden language, and you can write out what it means to have a fully furnished conference room space or a front desk receptionist that's going to greet your members. So that's one way to do it. The other way is to flip that on its head. You bulletize the amenities and you write out more text about the conference rooms themselves. So a small conference room is great for X, Y, and Z, or the large conference room comfortably seats up to 12, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's one way you can switch it around. So now you have 2 different varieties on conference rooms by themselves. And of course, each location is going to have a different set of text or a different set of geographic identifiers on it. Then you start to mix and match some of those things. You talk about the office space and a couple of bullet points below that, the conference room, the small conference room, maybe 2 or 3 different bullet points below that, maybe the benefits. And you start to mix that text together. That helps you to have a third way to start to language it. So those right there are 3 different ways that you can language your text. The other way that you can create unique content is to have somebody else write it for you. Now you may be thinking, well, hold on a second. Having someone else write that content, that maybe is a little bit, maybe I don't really want to do that. But that's actually a good thing, because everyone has their own thought process behind how they write content, their own voice, if you will. So when you have somebody else write that content, they have a different way of saying things. So they can take that same structure that I just outlined for us, and they can write the content, but it's going to come across in their own voice, in their own words. Guess what? That's unique content. So you could have a friend of yours write that content, or you can actually pay for someone else to write that content as well. There are plenty of services out there, Series.com or Scripted.com. Any of these different services out there and platforms can help write that content as well. and write that content for you. You need to pay them obviously for that. So overall, as you're looking at content creation, creating unique content is critical for the search engines. They really want to see that unique content. And those are 3 or 4 different ways we just covered about how to create that unique content for your business. So good luck in driving your digital marketing.